All right. Well, it's certainly an incredible honor to have Governor DeSantis make this stark announcement.
That underwhelming announcement that took about 20 to 30 more minutes to be made was supposed to be made last night at a specific time. 30 minutes later it came. There you see on Twitter Spaces, Elon Musk point out, we're gonna make a very specific, very new time launch here, and all we got is beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. Ron DeSantis was there to speak. Launch his presidential campaign on Twitter Spaces, because that's new, that's different, and that's kissing Elon Musk's ass. Perfect. His team worked on this whole thing, and then it kind of stumbled out the blocks. He was made fun of incessantly, which we're gonna get to as well. But I think he was making a comeback, because after that whole thing, 20 minutes went by, 20, 30 minutes went by. He came and he gave a quick 3.5 minute stump speech that he was reading from a piece of paper, quite obviously, to Twitter Spaces. And afterwards, they slapped it on some video with these images involved. I'm still not sure if this was real. Watch this.
Well, I am running for president of the United States to lead our great American comeback. Look, we know our country's going in the wrong direction. We see it with our eyes and we feel it in our bones. Our southern borders collapse. Drugs are pouring into the country. Our cities are being hollowed out by spiking crime. The federal government's making it harder for the average family to make ends meet and to attain and maintain a middle-class lifestyle. And our president, well, he lacks vigor, flounders in the face of our nation's challenges, and he takes his cues from the woke mob. This also means replacing the woke mind virus with reality, facts, and enduring principles. Merit must trump identity politics. We must return normalcy to our communities, but we also understand governing is not entertainment. It's not about building a brand or virtue signaling. It is about delivering results. And our results in Florida have been second to none.
I think this was supposed to make it better, but I think it made it a little bit worse, because for some reason Elon Musk was featured all over this series of the same 5 to 6 pictures and videos in an announcement for Ron DeSantis. I'm completely confused. It was made pretty lazily, I think. I think a 10th grader could have put that together, probably better. But still, it was quick. I'm not sure if they planned this. Did he spring it on his team that he's gonna announce to run for president? I have no idea what's going on. Is Elon his running mate? I don't know, but for some reason they think Elon is the magic man. He's got the Midas touch, and he's gonna turn everything lovely to gold for you. Except he hasn't yet. This came from the DeSantis War Room Twitter page, by the way. So I looked them up a little bit. I said, this has to be fake. I was investigating, looking for the hole in this whole thing. Apparently it's rapid response for Ron DeSantis. I went to that link. It's his actual Twitter page. It's got, all these followers. So I guess the blue check, I'm not sure if it was there or not. So I'm not sure how this whole thing went down. And Dan, maybe you watched it closer than I did. So maybe I won't have to go through these next few things about what exactly went wrong with that Twitter space.
I think what a normal person, or at least someone who isn't in the actual filter bubble that's going on the right wing, where Target and Bud Light are now enemy number one. Normal people can see that this is just the result of a lot of people's hubris happening at once. Also on the part of Ron DeSantis' campaign, as Ravana has said, TYT contributor, it seems like his campaign just really despises Ron DeSantis, like doesn't like him, because yeah, like on a production level, like we do video editing. I was able to quickly spot, you were able to quickly spot, yeah, they're looping images of Elon Musk and Ron DeSantis. It's like, but they're like looping it. Like it's the same couple of B-roll, and they're looping it as though like, oh, I'm out of B-roll on my computer. This is the best I got right now. The wavelength doesn't even match the sound that we're talking about. It's also, the whole thing was a disaster because it buckled under the weight, because Twitter's not a live streaming service. Events on Twitch, events on YouTube can get millions of streams concurrently, hundreds of thousands of streams concurrently, more, and they don't crash like this. Elon Musk thinks he has the best website ever, and Ron DeSantis thinks he has the most popular campaign ever. And in reality, it's just like bad service, bad thing. There's just so much hubris here. There's so much, and I think because the right wing has this filter bubble where they all now believe that oh, this shows that, oh, Ron DeSantis broke the internet. They're doing such a good job. No, I think this reveals what we're actually seeing, that he doesn't really have the juice. He doesn't have the charisma. He doesn't have the planning it takes necessary to beat Donald Trump. And we still haven't really had him take any parting shots or like beginning shots toward Trump when Trump's just been laying haymaker after haymaker, posting memes. I've been on let him fight before, but now it's really kicking. Like, I want to see what pathetic little attempt Ron DeSantis has.
We'll see. And look, and as I think John maybe mentioned the other day, these are a couple of folks that are absolutely deplorable, hateful people looking to run the country, one to try and do it again. So it's kind of hard to see it. But then once the fighting starts happening, it's just like sit back and watch it happen, because there's definitely no sides to be taken in this realm. One is a spawn of the other, but just with a little bit less connection to the way people can speak. Still though, after this whole thing went down though, and then Twitter crashed, and then there was the embarrassment of that, and fun was made, and memes, and everything went down with this. DeSantis at the back end of his Twitter Space announcement, there seemed to be like an agreement here. There's something between him and Elon, because this is what he said. Graphic 4, you guys. At the back end, DeSantis looking to praise Elon. So after that Twitter Space restarted, DeSantis finally got his chance to speak. He made that stump speech, which was part, as you heard there behind that one video. But then after that, he complimented Musk for buying Twitter. Good job spending money that you have. He also praised Mr. Musk, who often declares his support for free speech, for that commitment, and said that the Twitter owner would surely make money off this investment in the company. Sounds like that's the whole purpose for this. Lastly, Mr. Musk is, quote, a good businessman, is what DeSantis said. And Twitter Spaces, he later added, is a great platform. I mean, I guess if you say it, despite what people just saw, it's a thing. But as Dan, as you pointed out, it's not made for that. Now, it could be if you want to have a site that's able to host these types of things. You expect hundreds of thousands to a million people like this. Maybe you can prepare to get to that point, but that would cause you to work.
So Elon Musk was, I think Twitter was doing this anyways, but Twitter shut down Periscope, which was a live streaming app that was built into Twitter that allowed you, it was pretty good at live streaming things for protests. I mean, it was only as good as your cell phone connection, but if a lot of people were watching, it was less prone to crashing. But I remember back on the campaign point, like, even in production, we have backups. If the live stream does not work at TYT, like, it's a little bit annoying, but like there's a backup on a backup, right? Like it more or less the clips will get published, because every basic newsroom, hell, I do a live stream off of my computer, and it's like all equipment that I set up myself. I have backup recordings, all right? I still lose them sometimes, but like this is a basic thing that they didn't even have set up because the audio is all bad. And I think this amateurish sort of approach to campaigning, this sort of hubristic, look what I've done, look at the media attention I can get, is going to start to bite Ron DeSantis really hard when Donald Trump, he's just getting warmed up. He's just going, Ron DeSanctimony is here. Here's a high school, yeah, meatball Ron over here. Here's the photo of you at the high schoolers getting drunk. That's a little sus over there. Like, it's only gonna get worse unless Ron DeSantis shapes up. I have a question for you if we have time later, because I have a little bit of wild speculation for the Elon Musk, Ron DeSantis, Adam, all those other people together, but we'll get to what chapter percent.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this is the thing. From the Twitter Spaces, I guess not Elon's, but at least DeSantis' team was looking to spread this to different locations. So they started on Twitter Spaces, but then he went over to Fox News, and he's like, let me go to the more like standard television type of interview as I go through this launching process. And he was looking to look presidential there, but then I guess trying to appeal to the muskrats over on Twitter first. And since that failed, here he is talking to Trey Gowdy, who couldn't help but to take one more shot with Ron DeSantis's face on air. Watch.
Today he announced his candidacy to be the next president of the United States, and he joins us now for his first television interview since that announcement. And we will keep him longer than most guests so we can ask him about his plans for the country, as well as how he will address the issues confronting our culture and our country. I can't promise you that I won't crash, but Fox News will not crash during this interview. Governor DeSantis, if you broke Twitter, my daughter and the Kardashians are going to be very upset with you. I don't know if that's what happened with Elon Musk or not. Maybe he just had a big audience.
He's like, oh, damn, I think Elon's not gonna like that. So they start, all these shots get taken. Biden gave some shots. We're gonna talk about the things that Trump said about him as well. But look, I'm gonna give you guys some substance of what Ron DeSantis actually had to say. He has a platform. He spoke for several minutes about it, read several minutes of his platform on that launch. But what about some concrete issues? Conservatives are really concerned about the amount of money being spent in the war in Ukraine between them and Russia. It's a general normal question. Let's see if he has an answer for that.
How would you address the ongoing war in Eastern Europe between Russia and Ukraine on day one of a Ron DeSantis presidency?
Well, first, I think what we need to do as a veteran is recognize that our military has become politicized. You talk about gender ideology, you talk about things like global warming that they're somehow concerned in. That's not the military that I served in. We need to return our military to focusing on commitment, focusing on the core values and the core mission. That would be something that I could take care of on day one. There'll be a new sheriff in town as commander-in-chief, and I think you'll see recruiting start to get back to where it needs to be because people don't want to join a woke military, and I think it's been really, really problematic.
As you can see, he has no answer for what's going to be happening with Ukraine and Russia. They only have complaints. This is Republican Partyism 101. But one more thing, he's talking about the wokeism and why recruitment numbers are down for the military, which conservatives like to talk about, and it's a coordinated effort to push that narrative. But in reality, if you look at some real conversations about it, this is what people in the army say, in the military say. They're saying this about recruitment numbers. These being people that could bring in. They just don't see the army as something that's relevant. This is not a graphic, I'm reading this from a different article. Major General Alex Fink said this about their marketing process. He says they see us as revered, but not as relevant in their lives. There's this small thing, Dan, younger folks, that's what they're always trying to recruit into the military. Fewer and fewer of them are thinking that's my only way to any kind of success in this world. My next step, career-wise, I'm in this bad spot, or I want to defend my country and I'm gonna leave my name as a standard with this particular situation. That's just an older and older thought process, and that's a hurdle that they're gonna have to clear if they want to continue keeping the numbers that they always had before. And then just blaming it on another political party for downing people's morale and they don't want to join the military anymore, and then potentially getting elected off of that lie. What are you gonna do about it though when it stays the same? Because that's not the problem.
Yeah, not only does he not have an actual answer for why younger people are not drawing towards the military, when it's funny because you look at actual statistics and actual data and you see that younger people are more amenable towards more diverse spaces, LGBTQ plus acceptance. It's not younger people who are going to be like smashing beer bottles unless they're purposely trying to go viral and build their own TikTok campaigns on that, because you'll see a couple of French folks there. But you have an entire generation of people who have not only seen the generation who were convinced of going into the military either but for patriotic reasons or for economic mobility reasons. They've seen this entire generation of people come back, be parodied in media for coming back, not get any sort of like services for their long-term physical or mental health care needs, oftentimes being unable to work for whatever reason and not being served as for being unhoused. And so they look at all that and they go, okay, well, after seeing the results of this, maybe I'm not gonna fall for the recruiter, or maybe I'm not gonna do this or that other thing. There's a lot of other like main issues in society, which unfortunately Donald Trump is in certain parts of his comeback speech kind of mentioning about Florida that Ron DeSantis is not really addressing, that is actually more relevant in the average person's lives, which is going, okay, if I have to vote and it's not gonna be, transgender bathrooms, and it's not going to be whether or not Dr. Seuss can say the N-word, it's gonna be about, the economy. I think a lot of Republican voters, even in states like Florida, are going to shift towards things that actually matter towards them and experiences that they know from their loved ones and their friends and family and neighbors.
I mean, adapting to the changing groups of people is something that they're not very good at. So we'll see what the next steps are.